I'll tell you their favorite story. Listen, I'll tell you a cowboy story. I'll tell you the funniest story I ever heard in my life. Flat out, full bore, overhead cam, fork wide wheel, no holds barred, funniest story I ever heard in my life. I have told this story maybe 20 times in front of people. Each time I have been met with a stony silence. I am going to endeavor to tell this story one more time, anticipating perhaps a little higher level of animation than I have enjoyed upon prior occasions. Colonel Charlie Goodnight and Oliver Loving, pioneers, settlers of the old Southwest and folk heroes, both of them, founders of the great Goodnight Loving Trail, the westernmost of the great cattle trails, starting El Paso, Texas, up to Denver, Colorado, with a long spur into Montana. In years past, I have even come through here and talked about the great Turtle Drive of '86, Oliver and the Fork, and if you missed that, well, it was a rare beauty. The story about their middle years. Colonel Goodnight was 55 or so. Oliver was in his late 40s. Now, Colonel Goodnight had a beautiful house in town. He was a wealthy rancher. Oliver Loving handled the remuda, the horses that traveled with any herd. So he had to corral them outside of town. This is in Prescott, Arizona. And he built himself a little cabin. Colonel Goodnight loped up one day, dismounted, knocked politely on Oliver's door. Oliver answered, yes, Charlie. He could call him Charlie. Well, Oliver, as you know, I'm a prominent folk hero hereabouts, and I have some folk hero business to get at. But my fool horse sprained its ankle in a chuck hole, and I need a remount. Would you see your way clear to give me one? Well, Charlie, Oliver Loving said, I've got an altogether fine animal here. It's got good blood, good wind. It's got everything, but you don't want it. Well, how's that, Oliver? Well, you see, Charlie, I say it's an altogether fine animal, but it's an egg-setting horse. It's a what? It's an egg-setting horse, Charlie. Why, damn you, Oliver Loving, Colonel Goodnight said, for 50 years of my life I have had to listen to your rural ribaldries, your raucous rusticana, your fecal badinage. I'm not about to spend another 50 years listening. Now sell me that damned horse egg-setting indeed. Sold him the horse. Colonel Goodnight loped off in pursuit of folk hero biz. Down the road there, on the other side of the fence, was a little nest full of prairie chicken eggs. That horse vaulted into the air, sunfished once, threw Colonel Goodnight down onto the road, leapt over that fence and sat down on them eggs. Colonel Goodnight was astonished. He got up, painful, slapped the dust out of his breeches with the brim of his hat, clambered down the embankment, jerked reined that dumb brute back up on the road, mounted it, saddle-wise. You'll notice my discourse is littered with small language tests to ensure they were welded together as a solid unit. Loped off down the road once again in pursuit of folk hero biz. Well, he's crossing the old Taos River Bridge there before the river changed its course. That horse looked over the railing of the bridge, flew into the air one more time, threw Colonel Goodnight down onto the board, fractured his collarbone. That horse leapt off of the bridge and sat down in the water. Colonel Goodnight was madder than a boiled owl. Pretty mad. Climbed down the embankment, jerked reined that dumb animal back up on the road, switched it around so it faced the other way, clumb up on it, put the steel to it, rode hell-bent for leather back to Oliver's little cabin, where he vaulted from the saddle, ripped the door from its frail leather hinges, cast it aside, drug Oliver Loving out by the hair of his head, said, "Damn you, Oliver Loving. I know you told me that was an egg-setting horse, and I didn't believe you. But, yeah, see that yellow runny stuff on its front? Sat right down on them eggs. But when I was crossing the old Taos River Bridge before it changed its course, you know, that fool horse flew into the air, threw me down on the boards, fractured my collarbone, leapt off the bridge and sat down in the water. And I want to know why." "Oh, Charlie," Oliver said, "I forgot to tell you, sits on fish too." That's the funniest thing I ever heard in my life. Well, and then I sing them to sleep with this. That's their favorite story when they were little. Then I sing them to sleep with this. I made this song for Ralph Hahn Sr., an old rancher up there in Troy, Montana. I gave it to him as a birthday present for his 80th birthday. He was very kind to me one time. It's not a cowboy song. It's a song about getting old and having the work you were born to do run out on you. He was the one who told me about how in the Southwest they used to call the camp cooks the old woman because they had the foolish notion that only women do cooking. But they were hard-bitten cowboys who got too busted up inside to sit a horse properly. So they got set off on the chuck gang, had to do the cooking, handle the bedrolls, doctor the chilblains and saddle sores with the old Indian cures. But worst of all, when everybody went into town to hoorah, they had to stay behind and tend the fire and boil up the coffee to sober those guys up for another day's work. It was a rude letdown for anybody who had led a rough and a vigorous life. Too old to wrangle or ride on the swing, you beat the triangle and curse everything. If dirt was a kingdom, then you'd be the king. On the goodnight trail, on the loving trail, our old woman's lonesome tonight. Your French harp blows like a lone ball and calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin and get in there and blow out the light. With your snake oil and herbs and your liniment too, you can do anything that a doctor can do, except find a cure for your own goddamn stew. On the goodnight trail, on the loving trail, our old woman's lonesome tonight. Your French harp blows like a lone ball and calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin and get in there and blow out the light. The cook fire's out, the coffee's all gone, the boys are up and they're raising the dawn. You're still sitting there all lost in a song. On the goodnight trail, on the loving trail, our old woman's lonesome tonight. Your French harp blows like a lone ball and calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin and get in there and blow out the light. Yeah, I know that someday I'll be just the same, wearing an apron instead of a name, and no one can change it and no one's to blame. The desert's a bullock road in lizards and sage. It's easy to look like an old torn out page, faded and cracked with the colors of age. On the goodnight trail, on the loving trail, our old woman's lonesome tonight. Your French harp blows like a lone ball and calf. It's a wonder the wind don't tear off your skin and get in there and blow out the light.